So I realized that none of the videos I have on my channel are Nuzlocke videos. I've done like every form of Pokemon content except the Nuzlocke. Well, that and trading card videos, but I'm never doing a trading card opening video. The TCG can roll into a pit and die for all I care. So here we are, my first Nuzlocke video. Also, please subscribe, I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers. The starter I picked was my boy Turtwig, the best Sinnoh starter in my opinion. Sorry guys, I don't make the rules. I'm just stating the facts. At Lake Verity, I caught a Starly. On Route 201, I catch a Bidoof, and on Route 102, I catch a Shinx. And sadly, no, it doesn't have Intimidate. I also get a Zubat on Route 204. And for the Route 203 encounter, I'm just gonna let it play out of context. That is not true. Gay men might do that, but straight men definitely do not. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my god. You might be wondering what I was talking about in that clip. I actually don't remember. This was from like a week ago. I get Psyduck in Orberg Gate, Geodude in Orberg Mine, and lastly Machop at Route 207. Now we finally have our first gym battle against Rourke. He sends out Geodude first, and I send out Psyduck. Psyduck one-shots the Geodude with Water Gun, Rourke's Onix with Water Gun, and hits the Cranidos for half of its health while taking a pursuit. Cranidos outspeeds the next turn and... That cannot be how he goes out. No, 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 no. You gotta be kidding me. I log back in and send out the best starter. Cranidos outspeeds and uses Headbutt, which takes a third of Turtwig's health, and thankfully doesn't flitch him. Then Turtwig uses Razor Leaf, knocking out the Cranidos and winning us the battle. Can't believe we have our first death already. In Ravaged Path, I'm guaranteed a Magikarp encounter, which I definitely take, and in Valley Windworks, I catch a Shellos. Let's go! Let's go! I swear to God, I'm glad I'm recording. I'm glad I'm recording because I want to say this for the viewers. I am not going to let this Shellos die. No matter what happens, no matter what enemy I face, this Shellos is making it to the very end. I promise you. We have our first battle with the Team Galactic commander, Mars. She sends out Zubat first and I send out Geodude. It gets one shot by Rock Throw. Perugly comes out, so I swap in Staravia to lower its attack with Intimidate, while Staravia gets hit by a Fake Out. I constantly swap between Geodude and Staravia so Intimidate can neuter the Perugly's attack, and then swap in Machop while it takes a feint attack. Machop spams low kick until the Perugly finally goes down. Next I have my second gym battle with Gardenia. She sends out Turtwig and I send out Staravia. See, even Gardenia thinks Turtwig is the best starter. Anyway, Star outspeeds of course and uses Wing Attack. Turtwig uses Reflect, which I really didn't like, so I spammed Growl to run down the Reflect turns, while the Turtwig spams Razor Leaf and Grass Knot. Once Reflect finally ends, I stop playing with my food and knock out the Turtwig with another Wing Attack. Cherrim comes out next and uses Safeguard, while Star uses Wing Attack. Cherrim outspeeds and uses Magical Leaf, which almost knocks out Star, but she finishes it off with Wing Attack. Last out is Gardenia's Roserade. I didn't feel like sacking Star, so I swap her out for Zubat while it takes a Magical Leaf. Zubat uses Wing Attack on Roserade, while Roserade uses Magical Leaf again. I think to myself, Kadabra has good special defense, so I'll swap it in to take a Magical Leaf. The Magical Leaf takes over half of Kadabra's health.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
I swap in Gyarados, which takes a Magical Leaf. Roserade uses Grass Knot, which somehow takes out over half of Gyarados' health, while Gyarados uses Bite, which brings Roserade deep into yellow health, but it pops a Citrus Berry. Gyarados is way too good to sack, so I hard tag into Grotle, while he takes a Magical Leaf. Roserade uses Grass Knot, while Grotle uses Bite. Roserade uses Grass Knot again, leaving Grotle in red health, while Grotle uses Bite again, leaving Roserade in red health. I know Gardenia's gonna use a Super Potion, so I tag in Kadabra while she heals. I pray to the gods that Kadabra can outspeed and hit the Roserade with super effective Confusion, but sadly Roserade outspeeds and hits Kadabra with Magical Leaf, taking his life in the process. I send out Machop to take his place. Roserade uses Magical Leaf on Machop, which almost takes it out in one hit, while it uses Leer to lower Roserade's defense. Roserade of course outspeeds the Machop and finishes it off with Grass Knot. Take a shot every time I say Roserade in this video. At this point in the battle, I was looking at my team and thinking to myself, am I about to lose at the second gym? I eventually decided that the smartest move is to send out Zubat. Roserade decides to gamble her life away and uses Stun Spore, while Zubat uses Wing Attack, which leaves Roserade in yellow health. Roserade uses Magical Leaf again, leaving Zubat in yellow health, but Zubat breaks through paralysis and hits the Roserade with one final Wing Attack, knocking out that bum-ass flower and winning us the battle. Yes, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I was so scared. I was so scared. Like, there's no way I lose to Gardenia, right? She's the second gym leader. She's the second gym leader. No way I lose, right? If Zubat would have gotten fully paralyzed on that last turn, the run would have ended. In hindsight, there were lots of things I could have done to make that battle easier. For starters, I could have evolved Zubat and Kadabra into Golbat and Alakazam if I really wanted to, but I didn't want the battle to be too easy. But it's because of that Kadabra lost his life. Also, I could have taught Gyarados or Grottle the TM return, which would have dealt much more damage than Bite. Also, spamming Growl with Staravia for 5 turns was a dumb idea in hindsight. I should have swapped in Machop instead and spammed Leer. That way, Staravia could have had enough health to help take out the Rose Raid. I don't think I'm ever saying that Pokemon's name again, but what's done is done. All we can do is keep moving forward. Right after that, I had my battle with Jupiter. Luxio takes out her Zubat with Spark on Freight 1. When the Skuntank comes out, I constantly swap between B-Barrel and Staravia so that Intimidate can drop the Skuntank's attack stat. B-Barrel ends this turn by using Rock Smash on Skuntank, which thankfully lowers its defense stat. Skuntank goes for Smokescreen while B-Barrel goes for Stab Headbutt, which does incredible damage thanks to it being a critical hit. Skuntank next goes for Night Slash and B-Barrel goes for another Headbutt, which takes out the Skunk. I get the free Togepi egg from Cynthia and hatch it right away. I catch a Gligar on Route 206, Bronzor in Wayward Cave, Metatite in Mount Coronet, and a male Ralts on Route 208. Now I have my third gym battle with Fantina. Gyarados uses Bite and almost one-shots the Duskull, as it uses Future Sight. Gyarados takes it out with another Bite and takes the Future Sight attack. She sends out Haunter next and it uses Shadow Claw, but that move does Igglybuff damage. Gyarados straight up one-shots it with Bite. Last is her run-ending Mismagius, but it gets taken out by 2 Bite attacks. Gyarados could have easily died if the Mismagius got a higher damage roll or a critical hit, but we take those. I get a Duskull on Route 209, Ghastly at Hollow Tower, and Ponyta at Route 210. Our fourth gym battle starts with Maylene. Star one-shots the Metatite with Aerial Ace. When the Machoke comes out, I hard swap in Metatite, which takes a Rock Tomb. Machoke uses Focus Energy while Metatite uses Psychic. I keep Metatite in, even though it's dead to a critical hit here. Machoke uses Strength, which almost kills Metatite, but he hangs on and finishes off the Machoke with Psychic. Last out is her Lucario, so I hard swap in Gyarados as it takes a Force Pump. I swap into Crobat and then back into Gyarados for another attack drop. Then it uses Dragon Rage. Lucario uses Metal Claw while Gyarados uses Return. I remembered I wanted Gastrodon to pack up this blue Gooner, so I hard swap Gastrodon in and it blasts the Lucario away with Mud Bomb. I get Hippopotas and Ruin Maniac Cave, Houndour at Valor Lakefront, and a guaranteed Remoraid encounter at Route 213. Now it's time for our fifth gym battle with Crash Awake. Gengar outspeeds and one-shots the enemy Gyarados with Thunderbolt. Next out is Floatzel and he's a problem. I hard swap into my own Gyarados for the Intimidate attack drop as it takes a Crunch attack. The Floatzel goes for another Crunch while Gyarados uses Return, which takes over half of the Floatzel's health. Unfortunately, it has a Citrus Berry that heals it up quite a bit. After taking another Crunch, Gyarados uses Return to put down the Floatzel for good. Crash Awake's last Pokemon is Quagsire, but it gets one shot by my Gardevoir's Magical Leaf, ending the battle. Yeah, you thought I was gonna evolve that Ralts into a Gallade, didn't you? I already have one Psychic Fighting type, I don't need another. I catch Tentacool on Route 218, get the Riolu egg from Riley, which attached into, you guessed it, a Riolu, and catch a Finneon in Kanalave City. Now we fight Rourke's dad, Bryson. My goat takes out the Magneton with ease by using Earthquake. When Steelix comes out, I hard swap in Octillery and one-shot it with Surf. Last is Bastiodon. I'm scared of Metal Burst, so I hard swap in Lumineon, and Bastion lands a Stone Edge that deals over half her health. Bastiodon's attack stat is only base 52, by the way. I hard swap in Torterra as he weaves a Stone Edge like a real one. I use Razor Leaf to weaken it as it lands a Stone Edge that barely does anything to my goat. Torterra lands another Razor Leaf and Bastiodon lands another Stone Edge. Torterra uses Leech Seed and Bastiodon finally goes for a Metal Burst, but it fails. Torterra spams Razor Leaf a few more times until Bastiodon is weak enough for Gastrodon to come out and finish him with Mud Bomb. We're gonna skip straight to the 7th gym battle with the 7th gym leader. Lucario one-tap Sneasel with Aura Spear. I swap it to Bronzong when Piloswine comes out and Bronzong beats it by spamming Gyro Ball. Third out is her Obambasto, so I swap in Metacham on a Focus Blast. Metacham one-shots it with Fire Punch. Her last Pokemon is Frostlass, but my Houndoom resists literally all of the Frostlass's moves and has Feint Attack, which will always hit regardless of how many times the Frostlass uses Double Team. So yeah, Houndoom cooks the Frostlass and we win. Now we have the fight with Cyrus in the Distortion World. His Houndoom outspeeds and uses Flamethrower, which can somehow beat my Hippowdon in 2 hits, but my Hippo one-shots it with Earthquake. His Gyarados comes out, so I tag in my Gardevoir as it gets hit by Waterfall, which takes over half of Gardevoir's health. My plan was to outspeed it next turn and one-shot it with Thunderbolt, but the Gyarados surprisingly outspeeds and lands an Earthquake that almost kills Gardevoir. Gardevoir responds with a Thunderbolt that kills the Gyarados in one shot. I was relieved that Gardevoir lived that attack, but the game reminds me that a Sandstorm was up, and the residual Sandstorm damage takes out Gardevoir. So, yeah, my bad. I didn't realize that Gyarados was basically 1 point faster than Gardevoir. Cyrus sends out Honchkrow and I send out Rocky Road. Rocky Road one-shots the Honchkrow with Rock Blast. When the Weavile comes out, I swap in Lucario and one-shot it with Aura Spear. His Crobat just gets beat by my Bronzong because of Zen Headbutt. On Route 222 I get an Electabuzz, and then it's on to the final gym battle against Volkner. Gastrodon one-shots the Jolteon with Mud Bomb. Gliscor one-shots the Raichu with Earthquake. Gastrodon comes back out and beats the Luxray with 2 Mud Bombs. Last is his Electivire, but Golem one-shots it with Earthquake. I don't know why there's so many ground types in this game, but it made this fight super easy, so I won't complain. On Victory Road, I've already caught most of the Pokemon on that route, so I ended up getting a Gabite as my encounter, which can evolve into Garchomp. You know, the best Pokemon at the game. Before I can actually challenge the Elite Four, the rival that I've been neglecting for this entire video wants to have a battle. Staraptor lands a critical hit Aerial Ace as Dusknoir lands a Thunder Punch that paralyzes it. Barry swaps out his Staraptor for his Roserade and it gets hit by a resisted Thunder Punch. I swap in my Rapidash and one-shot it with Flare Blitz. Floatzel comes out, so I swap in Electivire and one-shot it with Thunder Punch. Next is Snorlax, so I send in Medicham and one-shot it with High Jump Kick. The Staraptor comes back out, so I swap Electivire back in and it kills the Staraptor with Thunder Punch. When his Heracross comes out, I send in Crobat and take it out with one hit with Fly. Barry's last Pokemon is surprisingly his starter, Infernape, but Tortellini comes out and beats it with Surf. Now let's fade the Elite Four. But first, I figured I should at least show you the team I used for these fights. I used Garchomp of course, Dusknoir, my goat Togekiss, Rapidash, Medicham, and of course, Gastrodon. I told y'all I was taking her to the Elite Four. As always, we start with fighting Aaron. Garchomp outspeeds and one-shots the Yanmega with Rock Slide. Drapion comes out and I'm scared of Ice Fang, so I swap in Gastrodon. The Drapion does indeed go for Ice Fang on the switch, but Gastrodon handles it no problem. After a couple of Mud Bombs, the Drapion goes down. Heracross comes out and rams the Gastrodon with a Mega Horn that does a lot of damage, but Gastrodon pops her Citrus Berry and responds with a Surf that takes over half of its health. I swap out Gastrodon for my favorite Pokemon of all time, Togekiss, and it dodges the Mega Horn on the switch like a G. She then finishes off the Heracross with Air Slash. This Vespiquen was a real problem because it kept spamming Defend Order, so Big Sister Garchomp has to come back out and finish it off with Rock Slide. Aaron's last Pokemon is Scizor, but Garchomp knows Fire Fang and one-shots it. Second is Bertha. Her Wishcast gets one-shot by Best Girl's Magical Leaf. Golem comes out and it gets beat by Water Pulse. I swap Gastro in when the Rhyperior comes out. She takes a Rock Raker, heals back up with Recover, gets hit by Earthquake, and one-shots the Rhyperior with Surf. I swap in Dusknoir on the Gliscor. Dusknoir uses Ice Punch on Gliscor a few times but could potentially die to a crit. So Big Sis Garchomp comes out and finishes off the Gliscor with Crunch. Bertha's last Pokemon is Hippowdon. I know Gastrodon can't one-shot this with Surf, so I keep Garchomp in and use Crunch. Then Hippowdon starts spamming Yawn, so I have to keep swapping out so my whole team doesn't fall asleep. Then I just said screw it, swapped in Medicham, and beat the Hippo with a High Jump Kick and a Fire Punch. Third is Flint. Garchomp uses Swords Dance turn 1 while Houndoom wastes a turn using Sunny Day. Garchomp then kills the Houndoom with Dig. He does the same thing to Magmortar, but gets burned by Flame Body. I'm not really scared of this Flareon, so Garchomp takes a quick attack and uses Swords Dance to get her attack stat back up. She then one-shots the Flareon too with Dig. Now I can't use Dig on his Infernape because it knows Earthquake, so I swap Pinwheel back in, praying that the Infernape goes for Earthquake, and it does. She tanks a Flare Blitz and then kills the monkey with Air Slash. Last out is Rapidash, but Gastrodon takes it out with some Mud Bombs. The last Elite Four member is Lucian. I lead with Garchomp and use Swords Dance while Mr. Mime uses Reflect. I use Swords Dance again as they go for Light Screen. Garchomp then proceeds to one-shot Lucian's whole team with Crunch and Dig. Did I mention that Garchomp is a really good Pokemon? Last and certainly not least, is Cynthia. Garchomp leads with Swords Dance and takes a Dark Pulse from Spiritomb. I go for another Swords Dance and get hit by Shadow Ball. Garchomp finally kills the Spiritomb with Dig. Cynthia sends out her own Garchomp, and I didn't know that I could have the TM for Dragon Claw for this fight. So I just used Crunch on the enemy Garchomp, then it hits my Garchomp with Dragon Rush. Thank you for everything, Big Sis Fang. Gastrodon comes out, gets hit by Dragon Rush, thankfully doesn't get flinched, and finishes off the Garchomp with Ice Beam. Next she sends out this fucker, so I swap into Rapidash and one-hit KO it with Flare Blitz. Now her Milotic is out, so I swap the Togekiss on a Surf. Togekiss spams Air Slash while Milotic spams Ice Beam. And as you would expect, Togekiss goes down first. Sorry fam. Medicham comes out, gets hit by Surf, and defeats the Milotic with Thunder Punch. Cynthia sends out a Togekiss of her own and it takes out my Medicham with Air Slash. I tried to send out Dusknoir and beat the Togekiss with Thunder Punch, but Cynthia heals it back up with a full restore, and it eventually beats my Dusknoir with Ice Beam. Really wish we could use healing items in hardcore Nuzlocke. Gastrodon comes back out, heals up with Recover, and takes down the Milotic with an Ice Beam and a Surf. Her last Pokemon is Lucario and it uses Aura Spear, but Gastrodon takes it out with a few Mud Bombs, granting us the victory, and ending the run. Phew, well this certainly was a Nuzlocke. I'll admit I did have fun strategizing and playing this game. I just don't like how you can't use a Pokemon after it faints. It's annoying. And if my opponent heals, I should be able to heal too. It's only fair, but whatever. Now you guys can't say I'm too pussy to do a Nuzlocke. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more Pokemon content. This is Jay signing off. Don't forget to eat your vegetables.